Let's set up my budget for 2023. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Kamika, and this is Well Balanced Wallet, where I help you create healthy money habits and live a life that you love on your current budget. Today, we're going to be setting up my budget for 2023, and I'm so excited because our budget has looked the same for the past 2 years, maybe, I think since 2020. So I'm excited to kind of change some things up and to move some money around and do some things that I've been trying to, or that I've been wanting to do for so long. So let's get started. This is a copy of my budget, by the way. I don't want to mess up my real budget. So this is just a copy of my current budget. I'm going to make the changes here. And once I make the changes in real life, I'll copy this over to my current budget. But yeah, so first things first, I have so many checking accounts and savings accounts, and I don't know why. It's no longer necessary. I'm going to close some of these tabs so we can only look at this. It's no longer necessary when you use ynab to have 1,000 bank accounts, because you can divide up your money even just using one account. So I think what I'm going to do is reduce some of these accounts. So I'm going to keep checking 1, checking 2, and rent for sure. And then these 3 savings accounts, I think I'm going to open a high yield savings account instead of having these 3. And then I just have 2 Chase credit cards that I use to pay everything with so I can get the points. So yeah, we need to rename this to mortgage because we no longer pay rent. Let's do mortgage account. Okay. And then this checking is a joint checking account. This checking is my personal checking account. That's the account that nothing is in except for the money that we pay towards our mortgage. And then these are 3 savings accounts that I don't necessarily need to be separate. So I think I'm going to close this one. Is there a way to close without deleting? No. So I'm going to close this one, and then I'll just rename this one. I'm probably going to open up an Ally account, so I'll rename that one. So that cut down on the number of accounts that we have, and I'm really excited about that. These tracking accounts, these are just things that I like to keep track of, but they don't affect my budget in any way. So they're gonna stay, and then the loans is just my home loan. Okay, so the first thing I noticed right off the bat is that I have nothing in this accounts category group. And the reason why I have this accounts category group is because I used to have categories in my budget for checking 1 and checking 2 for like a bottom line number that I wanted to have in each of those accounts, but it's no longer necessary. We have grown in our budget, and we're making more money than we were at that time. And also ynab is a little bit different. When I set this up, ynab was a spreadsheet that you had to load on your computer, and you could only use it on the computer that it was loaded on. So things have changed. I no longer need this. So I'm going to hide it. I don't know that I want to delete it. I'm going to hide it. Okay, so that's gone. Next, I want to change the name of this to next month, because not a lot of people know what a buffer is. So we're going to change that to next month. The next thing I want to do is take all these due dates off because they don't match up anymore. The due dates have changed, and I also budget for the whole month at one time. So it doesn't matter when my bills come out. I'm just going to mark the transactions as they come out, and I know that the category is fully funded. Now, if I ever have to go back to budgeting by paycheck, this is absolutely necessary, and I'll add them back. But for now, I want to take them off. And by the way, if you want to know how to budget by paycheck, I have a video that just came out recently about that. So be sure to click the I at the top of your screen to go and watch that one. Okay, so we're almost done here. And last one. Okay. All right, let's go down the line and see what else we want to do. Honestly, I think this miscellaneous and spur of the moment, I think these two are pretty much one and the same, but I'm feeling hesitant to hide one of them. I don't know. It's just been there so long. I don't know. If I hide it, then I'll need to add more money to whichever category I don't hide. I don't know. Let me think on it for a second. And then let's go down a little bit. I do have some savings that I never talk about in my budget with me's because I don't budget for my savings during those videos. So all that's in there is just a regular savings and an emergency fund. I don't really know the purpose of the regular savings because I use sinking funds. So I think we can hide that. Yeah, let's do that. And anything else will probably be an investment, not just in a savings category in my budget. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, I think I want to change the name of this because it kind of gets confusing when I'm talking in the budget with me videos about spending money and then this category. But I don't know what to change it to. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, leave it below in the comments. Okay, so I think I have everything set up kind of the way I want it. So the next thing we're going to do is go through and use one of the newer ynab features called targets. And I have some in my current budget, but they look weird and they don't work properly because when I set them, they were called goals and they worked a little bit differently than the new targets. But we're going to set some targets. So for this next month, category, we're going to do create next month target, and the target that we're going to use is we're going to use need for spending, and it's going to be monthly, and we need it full by the last day of the month. The amount needed is $36.50, and save target. So it's going to tell me exactly how much money I need before the 31st of each month or the 30th of each month, 28th in February, how much I need before the end of the month. Okay. And then for our phone bill is usually $80 or less. So let's do a target here. And this will make budgeting so much easier too. We'll do a need for spending target. The amount needed is $80 and we need that by the 1st of the month. Save target. Our internet bill is weird. I'm gonna do a target of $115 and we're still gonna do need for spending. Monthly by the 1st. And I made this one the 31st, the next month category. I made this one the 31st because I need it before the end of the month, and then I made the bills the 1st because I budget before the 1st of the month. So that's why I did that. Electricity, I think we usually do $200 here. So we'll do this one by the 1st. Gas, $150 by the 1st. Water is usually around $50, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So let's do $55 by the 1st. And then we'll get into some of the other targets once we get done with the monthly bills. Car insurance, we need a target of $115.19 monthly by the 1st. Life insurance is $35.13 by the 1st. I am not sure about student loans just yet, so I'll leave that one blank, both of those. And I like to separate my loans and CARES loans because they go to different places and they are for different amounts. So I just want to be sure that we have enough for each of our loans. So we'll just leave that there. Gym is what I pay for my Peloton subscription, and I don't have a Peloton bike. I have a bike from Amazon. I also have a treadmill from Amazon, but I love the Peloton workouts. So that's just $9.99 a month. And then Apple Music is basically my catch-all for any subscriptions that goes through my Apple category. It started out as just Apple Music, but when I started paying for a few more apps, it just turned into a catch-all. But I don't want to change the name of it. It's usually $37 by the first. Okay, so we have targets for all of our monthly bills. We can collapse this. Move on to home ownership. We need, actually, this is based on the information in this loans section here, so I don't want to bother it just yet. I'll talk about it in another video if I make any changes to this. So I'm just going to leave this blank. Let's do delete. So I'm just going to leave that blank for now. Home maintenance and repairs. I just put a certain amount of money, or not a certain amount of money. I put a random amount of money in here every month. So something from every single paycheck goes into this category. But do I have an ultimate goal for this? I don't know. Let's set a small goal for this. Well, not really small, but small for home maintenance and repairs. Let's make a target of $5,000, but we're going to just make it a savings balance. So the amount needed is $5,000, and I don't want it by a certain date. Or do I? Do I want to push myself? I don't know. We currently have $2,259.44 in this category. Do I want to make it $5,000 by the summer? Maybe by the fall. Yeah, let's push ourselves. So we'll do by date, August 2023. Ooh. So once I put this over to my real budget, it'll show me exactly what I need each month. And you guys will be able to see that in the budget with me video for January. That's, I don't know, kind of nerve-wracking to kind of push myself like that, but it's fine. Okay, so groceries, we want to do $100 a week for groceries. And the cool thing about these targets is that you can set a weekly target and select the day that you want to have this funded by. And then we'll do $100. So that way, if there's a month with 4 weeks, then it'll only ask you for $400 to be in your category. And then if it happens to be a month with 5 weeks, then it'll change it up for 5. So let's do $100 needed for spending weekly on Sunday, because that's when we typically go shopping. And we'll do save. And so since it's already December 8th, there's only 3 weeks left, or 3 Sundays left in this month. So it broke it up. You can see this little, maybe if I uncheck it. Yeah, so you can see that it's broken up into 3 different sections. But when you go to next month, it's broken up into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's 5 Sundays in January. So let's go back to December. Okay, restaurants. We want $150 for the first day of the month. Okay, for our fun money categories, that's what it is. So when I say fun money, it kind of makes me feel weird because this is called fun stuff. So I do need to rename this. I'll figure it out by the time we get down here. But for these spending money categories, I don't think I want to put a target, because as you guys know, we ask Siri how much money we should get for each month for spending. So I don't want to add a target for these. Household goods, I think our target is $100. Yeah, I think our target's $100 a month, and we'll do by the first. Miscellaneous, I don't know. Let me skip this one for a second. For entertainment, this is just like if we need to buy a ticket for something, maybe going to the movies or something. We just pull from here. So we'll do $50 for the month by the first of the month. And then spur of the moment. Okay, so this is where I'm trying to decide if I want to do miscellaneous and spur of the moment, or one or the other. I think I'm going to hide the spur of the moment category. I don't know. I usually just put $50 here, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I usually just put $50 here. So if I add that $50 to the miscellaneous category, it'll balance out and I'll have less categories in my budget. Yeah, let's hide it. It's done. Okay, so for miscellaneous, I usually put $100 here. So let's bump this up to $200 because that includes the $100 that we already used, the $50 from Spur of the Moment, and then a lot of times I end up having to add more money from our paychecks into this category after I do the initial budget. So let's just do $200 by the first of the month. So school, I don't know. I want to keep it because I think my husband's trying to do like another boot camp or something, but let's do a savings balance of, what do we want? Maybe let's do a savings balance of $400 with no date. And you notice how it says $400 needed eventually, so it just gives me time to build up the $400 as I choose to, without like forcing me to do it by a certain date. And then once it gets to $400, it'll just sit there, and if it goes below 400, it'll tell me what I need to build it back up to 400. So that's pretty cool. All right, so personal care, we'll do 50. So the difference between the Christmas account and the Christmas money categories is I have a specific Christmas account with my bank that I showed you earlier that I'm going to be closing. But the way the Christmas account works is that you contribute money from October to October. And then on October 1st, the bank dumps the money from the Christmas account into your regular checking account so that you can use it for shopping for Christmas. They let you start a little bit early. So whenever my money goes into my regular checking account on the 1st of October, I put that money here into the Christmas money so that I know I can spend this much. And then the Christmas account starts to get funded again. So that's why I have those two categories. And I hide the Christmas money category after Christmas so that I don't have to see it because it'll just sit there saying 0. But that's why I have 2. So how much money do I want to have for Christmas next year? Ooh, I don't know what we usually spend for Christmas, but we do have a Christmas party every year. We've been doing this since 2012, I think. And I usually fund it because it's my party. I provide everything. I create all the games and everything. So I usually fund it, but it's always very simple. So if we start now, let's play around with a few things. Click on Target. I don't know. Let's do need for spending. And let's see what it looks like if we want to have, no, let's not do need for spending. Let's do a savings balance. And let's see what it looks like if we want to have, let's say $1,000 by November 2023. Oh, so that's not bad at all because I already have money in the Christmas account starting from this October. So that money will still be there. And it says I only need $83 a month to reach 1,000 by November. And you see how it says 83.34. If I don't put anything in there this month and I go to next month, it's a little bit higher because it's going to recalculate based on the time you have from now until when you set that target. So that's really cool. But yeah, no, I think $1,000 by November will be cool. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So I don't need a target on the spending money category. What's going to happen, since I'm not going to have that Christmas account anymore, in November, I'll move the $1,000 from Christmas account to Christmas money, and then I'll continue to save for the next year in this Christmas account category. So I don't need a target here. New car. I can delete all of these because I think this was from 2020 when I had that savings challenge for myself. These are the amounts that I put in. So I'll delete all of those since that's old. And then let's create a target. And we want to do savings balance. I know I don't want to have a due date because I do not want that pressure. But how much do I want to have for a car? I kind of want to buy a car in cash. We have $6,100.91 currently in this category. I don't know. I don't want to overwhelm myself, so let me do 10,000. And then once we get to 10,000, I can change the target. So that's what I'm going to do there. Okay, so for this, let's go ahead and change it. Let's just do, I don't know what to change it to. Let's change it to travel for now. I don't know. Let's leave it to change it to travel for now, and let's create a target. I want to do a savings balance target of $1,000 by no date. That way we know we always have at least $1,000 to travel, and it'll prompt us to replenish it once we use any of the money. Car maintenance and repairs, I currently have it set at $600, but I'm gonna do $1,000. And I need to change it to savings balance. And I don't want to do a date. I don't want to pressure myself. Same for medical expenses, but I want to do a bigger balance for that. I'm gonna do, let's start out with 5,000. I eventually want it to be 7,500 because I believe that's the amount of our deductible, but we'll just leave it at 5,000 for now, and then I change it. No date. And then once per year, I think I need a target of 300. Need for spending, no, not need for spending, savings balance of 300 by no date. And there's no target for reimbursements. Okay, my camera died, but we are back. So I think the last thing we need to do is to look at the emergency fund target. Because I already said we're not going to do a target for reimbursements. So for the emergency fund, I recently put out a video about how much money you need to save for emergency funds. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. But right now, my husband and I are working on the 1 month of expenses level that I talked about in that video. So for 1 month of expenses, we're going to make a target and do a savings balance target. I don't want to date because I don't want to make myself anxious about it, but the target is going to be $3,650 because that's how much our expenses are for 1 month. Okay, so we're going to save that target, and my goal is to do this one as quickly as possible, but I don't want to put a date on there because I have other priorities that have dates. So I'm going to figure it out probably in the next budget with me, what that's going to look like. But for now, we're going to do the $3,650 as the target for emergency fund. So this is how I set up my 2023 budget. I'm excited about it. I know I didn't make a ton of changes, but just combining some of these accounts and setting targets for everything and just figuring out what our priorities are for 2023. This is a great way to put everything into perspective. So that is all for this video. If you made it this far, drop this emoji in the comments. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and click the link on your screen right now for more Well Balanced Wallet content. See you there.